Hey guys, and welcome back to another video. Today I'm gonna talk a bit about the push-up and one simple modification you can do to your push-up training in order to get your first push-up. So the push-up is a fundamental pushing exercise. We use it in gymnastic training, we use it in just fitness training. It's pretty much a standardized drill that most people use. But a lot of people can get stuck when it comes to developing their first push-up. If you can already do a couple of push-ups, then it's quite easy to learn how to do more. But the tricky part can be to build that first one. Because if you can't do an exercise, how are you supposed to learn it? Well, the first thing is that you need to learn how to scale. And more specifically, you need to learn how to regress in order to make the exercise easy enough that you can actually practice it with enough volume to get stronger. So if you can barely do one push-up, then just trying to do more push-ups is not going to help you, because you're not gonna be able to practice the movement enough to actually get stronger. So the first thing I would recommend is simply to practice your push-ups with an elevation. So you could place your hands on a bench, on a table, against a wall. You could pretty much use anything that allows you to complete the full movement, going all the way down with your chest to the object and then back up. The key thing with your push-up training is that you need to practice it with the full range of motion, and you need to be able to control the eccentric, so when you go down, and you need to be able to push yourself back up, the concentric. So what a standard push-up would look like is something like this. Straight positioning, bending the elbows all the way down, pushing back up. And if you're not able to complete this movement, then you need to elevate the hands until you find a position or a setup that allows you to do this with full range of motion and control on most of your repetitions. But with all exercises we have a strength curve, so the exercise that you do is going to be more difficult and easier in different parts of the exercise. So with the push-up you might notice that you get stuck at certain parts, and that is simply because the movement is going to be harder depending on where you're at. So in a push-up, when you lower down, the muscles are lengthening, which means that they are able to produce more force, so it's going to be easier to go down than it is to go back up. So it's totally normal that you might be able to go down, but you never get back up. And that's the problem. Because you're going to get stronger eccentrically, which is good, that's a good starting point, but you're not going to be able to learn how to produce force from the bottom position to actually go back up. And this is where a lot of people get stuck. So what we need to learn how to do in our push-up is how to manage the intensity or the difficulty of the movement within the movement itself. So since we know that the eccentric part going down is easier and the pushing up part, the concentric, is harder, we need to make the first part harder and the second one easier. And how we do this is by performing a normal push-up with the eccentric, but we're actually going to lean a little more forward to make it even more intense. And then in the bottom, we are either going to place our knees on the floor and push back up, or we're going to lean back in order to decrease the intensity. And this is how that would look like. So I'm going to start in a normal plank. I'm going to protract the shoulders. I'm going to slowly lean forward and then lower myself down. Once I reach the bottom position, I'm going to place the knees on the floor and then push myself back, but using the knees as little as I can, and then straighten back up. So what that does is it allows you to make the first part harder, so you actually grow stronger, but it also allows you to modify the concentric part, so you can actually complete the movement, get enough volume to actually start to get stronger. And so this is a quite easy way to get your first push-up. All it requires is that you're able to do an eccentric. And the great thing about this exercise is that it allows you to build strength in both of these parts. If you just do a normal push-up at an incline, you're always going to have a little bit too much difficulty on the pushing part, and it's going to be a little bit too easy on the way down. So this is a great way to accommodate this and to get more out of your push-ups. And over a couple of weeks of training, you want to successively in each training session use the knees less as you push yourself back up, and you can also lift the knees off the floor earlier in order to make it harder. So this is what that kind of progression could look like. Lower down with control, leaning forward, pausing, knees on the floor, back up. Next time, same thing on the way down, knees down, push up, lift the knees, back up. So it allows you to build more strength, it allows you to develop more control, and this could be the exercise or the drill that you need to get your first push-up. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you want to see more strength-related videos, then please comment down below. You could also let me know what kind of skill are you working on? What do you need help with? I would appreciate it very much, and otherwise I'll see you in the next video.